Start new game. Здорово, Диманчик. Я Мэн 2.0. Да, я помню, Хельга, тебе не нравилось, что там экран трясется или мерцает что-то много, да? Типа чувак недоволен, что второй не открывает? Или что второй курит?
And so, I was born. The first people
Я
I remember
родился, я
seeing
увидел
were the old man,
старого
the old
мужчину,
lady,
старую
and their daughter,
женщину,
Heather.
их дочь
After
Хитер.
they'd said hello, the old man powered me
Потом они
down so
загрузили в
he
меня
could
софт.
install some software. I could tell they were nice people. The old man didn't give me a silly voice or stupid
Старый
personality,
человек не дал мне
and the old lady didn't dress me
стрёмный
like a
голос
clown.
или глупость.
Although for some reason, Heather really didn't like
Хэттер
me.
меня
Once I'd
не
had time to
любила.
get used to walking, the old man asked me to dash from one end of the
Потом он
room to
меня
the other.
попросил пробежать из одного угла комнаты в другой. Уи, я Наруто.
Next, the old man spent a couple of
Потом они
hours
построили
building some wooden
платформы
platforms. He said he wanted me
и
to jump
попросил
up
меня
them,
попрыгать по
but
ним.
I must admit,
Но я
I
был
was
напуган.
scared. It wasn't until I
Но
saw Heather and her
ты
mother
увидел
happily
Хитер
climbing
и
up
ее
them
мать,
that I decided it might be
радостно
okay.
забирающихся на них, и я понял, что, наверное, это ок.
The old man then rearranged the
Он переставил
platforms.
платформу.
He told me to try to reach the other end of the room without touching the floor.
Добраться
Heather said
до
the
следующего
floor's
угла
made of lava. But when I
комнаты,
smiled at her,
не
she
прикасаясь к
just
полу.
frowned and
Хитр
looked
сказал,
away.
что пол это лава.
The old lady arranged some pillows and blankets. She said it was in case I fell, but I think she just wanted it to look more like lava. When I reached the other side, the old man just
Старый человек
smiled and
улыбнулся и
said, "That'll
сказал:
do for now."
этого пока хватит. Часть первая. Учимся ходить. Ну, я думаю, что ты попал просто на неудачные уровни, где там быстро все двигается. Ну, там
A
обычный
couple of days
платформинг.
after those first lessons, the family had a big meal, and I was introduced to
Меня
everyone else.
представили
The
всем.
professor was the old man's brother.
Профессор
He was very
был
quiet
брат,
and always seemed to just
он
kind
все
of
время на меня
stare at me.
пялился.
He had lived with the old man for 5
Он жил со старым человеком уже 5 лет.
years. The house was so
Дом был такой большой, что они редко
huge
виделись.
they barely saw each other. He preferred
Он
instead to stay in
предпочитал
his
оставаться в
room,
комнате.
leaving everything up
И типа всем занимался его какой-то подручный, мистер Дек.
to his butler, Mr. Deck, as he insisted everyone call
Энтон Дек.
him, although the professor always called him Anton.
Профессор называл его Антон.
For a while, he called me the
Меня он называл желтым придурком.
yellow bastard, but the old man made him stop.
Но старый человек попросил его остановиться, потому что это выглядит расистски. Здорово, Зубокрыныч.
As he thought it sounded racist. Mr. Silton was
Мистер Силтон — это водитель
the
старого
old man's
человека.
driver. Before he worked here, he
Прежде чем он работал здесь, он связался с
got
плохими
in with
людьми,
some bad people and was the driver.
и он был водителем в ограблении
During the
почтового
post office robbery,
офиса,
although it all went wrong
и все пошло
for some
наперекосяк.
reason.
А там написано, вон, машина с его именем. Они прямо на его машине грабили.
Mr. Silton showed me
Мистер Силтон показал видео с его
a
группой.
video of his band. I'm sure some people must like it.
Думаю, кому-то это
I just
понравится.
found it
Но это
terrifying.
было страшно по мне.
Then there was Alice. She
Еще
was the cook.
Элис есть.
She
Она повар,
was a nice
хорошая
old lady.
женщина.
When she was younger, she
Когда
had
она
been
была моложе, она была поваром на телевидении.
a TV chef. Then, years later, she had
Потом, годами спустя, э, не понял, какой-то улице
a small part in Coronation Street. Mr.
работала.
Silton said, before she worked for the old man, Alice was quite a hoarder. She kept old newspapers and bicycles.
Говорит, раньше она дома все скапливала, старые газеты и велосипеды.
And something about a poo in a shoebox. The next morning, the old man gathered everyone
Потом
together
старый
to
человек
show them
собрал всех, чтобы показать,
I
на
was
что я
capable
способен.
of. What else does he do? Asked Mr.
И
Silton.
что он же
The
умеет
old man
делать?
smiled. He
Он
can
может
help
помогать по
around the
дому.
house. Could he help me with my news?
Может ли он мне помочь собирать газеты?
collecting.
Спросила Элис.
Asked Alice. I'm not sure that's a good
Не думаю, что
idea,
это
said
хорошая
the old
идея.
lady, but he can do all sorts of
Но он
jobs.
может
Here,
делать
said
все
Mr.
подряд. Да, сказал мистер Силтон, вставьте ему палку в задницу, и он сможет выполнять работу Антона.
Silton, shove a stick up his ass and he can do Deck's job. Now, said the old man,
Не сейчас, у нас
we have company,
гость,
pointing to some important-looking people.
показывая на каких-то важных людей.
Two large men, both called.
Два больших человека, которых звали Гэри. Какие-то
Gary
лазеры установили.
set up what the old man referred to as lasers. He said again, I should try to get from one
Теперь хотят,
end of
чтобы
the
я
room to the other,
слева
but I
направо в
shouldn't be
комнате
worried,
прошел.
as I had a special chip which meant no matter how damaged I was, I couldn't die. He said it was
И он сейчас включил чип, что я не могу умереть.
like infinite lives in a
У меня
video game.
бесконечной жизни,
But
как в
when he
видеоигре.
realized I didn't understand,
Но он потом
he
понял,
said
что я
he
не
would
понимаю.
explain another time.
Он потом объяснит.
Everybody clapped, except the important
Все
little
хлопали,
man.
кроме важных людей.
Not exactly a cold calculator.
Не выглядит как хладнокровный убийца, сказал мужчина в черном.
Killer, is it? Said the man in black. The man in grey laughed. What kind of artificial intelligence was
И
that?
что это
He
за
asked.
искусственный интеллект?
Move right, unless there's something in the way.
Двигайся вправо, пока не встретишь преграду.
Okay, said the old man.
Хорошо,
He
сказал
turned
старый
to me and
человек.
whispered, they're going to make it
Я сделаю посложнее, но я
quite a
уверен,
bit
ты
tougher,
справишься.
but I'm sure you'll be fine.
Наруто, Не увидел, что там яма. Ага.
The Garys then rearranged the room
И
one
они
last
еще раз
time. The
перестроили.
old man smiled. Now, there's no need to look so glum, he said. I'm
Препятствия.
still happy with everything you've done today. So this time, I was determined to do him proud. The old man's friends actually seemed quite happy when I made it through. We might have a winner after all, said the man in black. It's no Killbot 3000, but you
Это не убийца 3000, не робот-убийца 3000, но огонек в
can
его глазах
almost
есть.
see the fire in its eyes. A couple of days later, the old lady said she had a
Через несколько
surprise for
дней
me.
старая женщина
My
сказала,
home
что
room.
у нее
She
для меня
also
сюрприз.
wanted
Вот
to
твоя
play me
комната.
some music. I wasn't
И
sure
дала мне
after what
послушать
Mr.
музыку.
Silton had shown me. As if music wasn't amazing enough, the old lady then bought me a television
Потом
set.
они купили мне
I
телевизор.
couldn't believe what I saw. I watched everything I
Я
could.
смотрел все, что мог.
Comedy, drama,
Комедию, драму, хоррор и скай-фай.
sci-fi. Anything anyone wanted to watch, I would happily watch with them. Then one day, the old man set up a
Потом он
small
принес
box.
маленькую
He plugged
коробочку.
some cables into the television and said, "This is what I meant."
А потом
when
он
I said
показал
video
видеоигры.
games. I played games at every chance I could.
Играл
I
постоянно
took
в
on
игры.
everyone. I was
Я был
unstoppable.
неостановим.
I had enjoyed music, film, and
Я
television.
наслаждался музыкой,
But to me,
фильмами и играми. Но видеоигры были
video
самой
games really
величайшей
were the
формой
highest
искусства.
art form.
Пенг. Понг. Тейбл-теннис на двоих. Я прибавлю немного громкости все-таки. Ну.
Heather's birthday was a couple of
Потом
months
был день
later.
рождения Хитр.
Her mum and dad had bought her a
Они
camera
купили ей
and
камеру.
arranged a day out by the sea so that Heather could take some photos.
Потом
Although I really don't
в отпуск на море.
think she wanted any pictures of me. When the old man asked the professor if he wanted to
Спросил,
go,
хочет ли
he
профессор
frowned and
пойти.
said, I can't believe you want to spend time with that thing. It could destroy the world. I wasn't sure what he meant.
Он говорит, ты хочешь, чтобы я провел время с этой вещью, она может уничтожить
But the
мир.
old man just smiled and said, that's what you said about the Game
Ты
Boy.
про геймбой то же
Anton,
самое
how
сказал.
about you?
Антон, а ты?
I don't think so, said Mr.
Не
Deck.
думаю.
The last time I got in that car,
Последний раз, когда я садился в эту машину, мы куда-то врезались.
Barry crashed us into a branch of Woolworths. I never would have gone into Woolworths of my own accord. The old man explained that the car was old and the brakes had failed, but Mr. Deck was having none of it. So Mr. Silton drove, and Alice came along for the fresh air.
Они поехали на свежий воздух.
I enjoyed being outside.
Мне понравилось быть
The old lady
снаружи.
kept telling me to be careful of the rickety old walkways.
Но мне
It
сказали,
felt
что я
like she
был
was telling
осторожен.
me off, but I think she was just concerned. As the old man and I stood on the cliff tops, I could see something in the
Потом
distance.
мы стояли на уступе, и я видел что-то вдалеке.
I wasn't sure what it
Я не
was,
знал, что
so
это,
I
и
asked
спросил
the old
старого
man.
мужчину.
He said it was a battle
Это был какой-то военный корабль, который
ship
потонул
that
в
had sunk in the
1940-х.
1940s. But he looked so sad when he spoke about
Но он
war.
был очень грустный, когда говорил о войне.
I didn't see what happened.
Я не видел, что случилось.
The metal
Но
platform Heather
металлическая
was climbing on
платформа
had collapsed.
провалилась, и
safe.
Хитр упала вниз. Она была в безопасности.
Even if the rocks she was on looked very dangerous. The tide was rising, and we didn't
Но вода
know how long
поднималась.
the coast guard was going to be. So I offered to climb down
И
and get
я
her.
предложил спасти
The
ее.
old man agreed, but said I should be careful,
Сказал, чтобы я был
as Heather
осторожен.
doesn't have infinite lives, like I
У
do.
Хитр нет бесконечных жизней.
Heather was unconscious, and her leg was
У нее
broken.
была сломана нога, и она была
So
в
I picked her
отключке.
up as
Я ее
gently
поднял
as I could.
так аккуратно,
I
как только
decided
мог.
it would be best if I didn't run the
И
rest of
решил,
the
что
way.
не буду бежать.
An ambulance had arrived by the
Потом
time
прибыла
I had
скорая.
made it back to the cliff top. The medics made sure
Медики
Heather was okay,
убедились, что
and then
Хитр в
took her
порядке, и
off to
потом
hospital.
отвезли ее в госпиталь.
A few days later, we all went to see how she was doing.
Через несколько дней мы приехали посмотреть,
She
как
was
она.
fine,
Она
but
была в порядке,
we
но
had to
ей
wear
нужно
the
было
cast
носить
for a
гипс
couple of
несколько
months.
месяцев. Улыбнулась. Робот спасает местную девушку. Герой-робот. Херобот. Херобот. Окей. Обидно.
Once Heather got to know me, We
Потом мы
became good
стали
friends.
большими друзьями.
We enjoyed the same films and
Нам
TV. She was
нравились
also
одни и те же
annoyingly
фильмы.
good at some of my favorite games.
И она была очень хороша в некоторых играх, которые мне нравились.
After a while, she became very interested in how I
Потом ей
worked.
стало интересно, как
Soon
я
she knew
работаю.
as
Потом она знала обо мне столько же, сколько и старый
much
человек,
about me
если
as the
не
old man
больше.
did, if not more. We spent the next couple of months visiting other
Потом мы
countries,
посещали разные
as when it
страны.
came to teaching me things, the old man always liked to pick
И
interesting
типа старый
locations.
человек меня учил в разных интересных локациях.
He had explained the basics of mathematics
Объяснил
to
мне
me at the Great
математику
Pyramid of
рядом с
Egypt,
Великой пирамидой Египта.
taught me history in the dead of night.
Рассказал историю, какую-то историю, видимо, страшную, с какими-то загадочными камнями.
Surrounded by mysterious giant stones,
Стоунхендж.
and even showed me science in
Потом
action high up
показал
in a hot air
науку
balloon.
с большого воздушного шара.
This is why I was surprised when the old man took me to a restaurant.
Потом отвел меня
It
в
was
ресторан.
nice, but it seemed very somber compared to the previous grand locations. He said he just wanted to chat,
Он
and
просто
this
хотел
was
со мной
nice and quiet.
поболтать.
Plus it was his favorite place to eat.
Это его любимое
We
место.
talked about life, the
Говорил о
universe,
жизни, вселенной, о Дугласе
Douglas
Адамсе,
everything really.
обо всем.
When I asked him why were we
И
here,
потом я спросил, почему мы здесь,
why did
почему мы
we exist,
существуем.
he just smiled and
Он
said,
улыбнулся и сказал, жизнь это как игра. Просто не ожидай, что она закончится
life is like
в
a game,
ближайшее время.
just don't expect to be finished anytime soon. When I looked puzzled, he said, well, everyone should have a purpose.
Он сказал, у всех должна быть
So I
свое
asked
какое-то
him,
предназначение. И
"What's my
какое
purpose?"
же мое?
He thought for a bit, then said, so you want to be a real boy.
Ты хочешь быть
It
настоящим
just
мальчиком?
confused me even
Это
more.
как отсылка к Пиноккио,
Eventually the
видимо.
old man said, for now,
Сейчас я хочу, чтобы
I
ты
want you
убрался
to
по
help
дому.
clean things around the house.
Или вокруг дома.
I must have looked unimpressed, as he then said, okay, I want you to clean 1,000,000 things.
Хочешь, чтобы я
It
очистил
didn't
миллион
sound
вещей?
like the meaning of life. But I suppose you've got to start somewhere.
Не знаю, что имеется в виду. Ищем смысл. Часть 2.
The next day, the old man said he wanted to
Хочешь,
install
чтобы я
some more software,
чтобы,
so he
короче,
powered me
установил
down.
еще какой-то софт на меня.
When I came to, he said Mr. Silton had a joke for me, and that I should pull his finger. I don't think I got the joke. So the old man powered me down again.
Типа ее чувство
This
юмора.
time when I pulled Mr. Silton's finger, I got the joke. But it wasn't very funny.
Теперь я понимаю шутки.
The
На
old
основе
man
шутки про дергание за палец.
then explained that he had installed a special chip which allowed me to clean away anything that was broken. He said it also tells me how many things are nearby, and how many smaller things are in a bigger thing. It
В общем,
all
какой-то чип
sounded very
поставил.
complicated, but he said all I really had to do was pause, and it would bring up all the information I needed.
Одна паузу
He then
нажать,
said he
тогда я
wanted
увижу
me
много
to find and
информации.
clean all of the items in the room. He told me there would be some chains to climb, but that would be nice and easy, as I just had to press up. He then finished by saying, when I had collected all the items, I should come back here.
135 мусора здесь. Решение 3. Я оттуда вылезу вообще. Типа на мусоре побольше нужно останавливаться. Один джанк остался. Где же? Oh, junk collected.
The old man then asked the old lady Heather and I to follow him outside. I was happy too, as it was a lovely hot day.
Мы отправились на улицу.
The old man said he was worried that Alice had been hoarding again. She had filled up a small barn with old bicycles and newspapers. Heather said, this would be a perfect chance to properly test my new powers. The old man thought for a second, then said, using the steptoe chip, I should find and clean at least 300 things. When we explained to Alice what we wanted to do, she seemed scared. But after the old lady kindly explained that, well, the barn was starting to smell, she said it would be okay. One
В
last
общем,
thing,
чистим.
said the old man. If you want to use a door,
Если
just
хочешь
push up.
использовать дверь, нажми вверх.
When I was about to enter the old barn, Mr. Silton said he had seen some mushrooms growing inside. He asked me to give him any that I found. He then
Просил
winked,
собрать мне
but
грибы.
I wasn't sure why.
Не знаю зачем. Типа количество воскрешений там показывается, не количество. Я думал, может быть, жизни показывают. Она выглядит, как будто ее можно сломать. Ай. Junk here. Junk hell. сюда я ходил. Ты все собрал.
The old man was very happy with everything that I had
Мы не были
cleaned,
счастливы, что я
but
все
I think
собрал.
Mr. Silton was even more happy with
А
his mushrooms.
чуваку был доволен, что я грибы собрал. Это что, осень?
It wasn't the days getting shorter, or the evenings getting colder. It was the falling leaves that really made me feel sad. As we watched the trees blowing in the breeze, the old lady said, "The leaves must fall before the blossom comes."
Листья должны опасть перед
She
тем,
had
как
already
все начнет
explained the
цвести.
seasons to me, so for once, I actually understood. But it didn't make me feel any better. The old lady obviously had enough of my moping, and said, "Right, next week we're going to have a party."
В следующей неделе
For
будет
some reason
вечеринка.
she insisted that we were all
Будем
going to
носить
wear
костюмы.
costumes. Heather was very excited and said, "I've got
У
some
меня
perfect
есть
ideas."
несколько неплохих идей. О, ну. Хэллоуин. Пати. В 7 вечера и позднее.
It was terrifying. Everyone was dressed like someone else. I
Было
think I
страшно.
was
Все
meant to be
оделись
some
как кто-то другой.
kind of pumpkin, as everyone kept shouting, "It's the great pumpkin." Still, at least Mr. Silton was having fun telling everyone his joke. And I suppose Heather's costume was quite flattering.
А Хэттер типа в меня оделась.
After what seemed like forever, everybody left.
Потом
and
все
things got
разошлись,
back
и
to
все
normal.
вернулось на круги своя.
Heather was allowed to watch a scary film
Они
before she went to bed,
пошли,
but I
посмотрели
had to
страшный
help
фильм.
Alice and Mr. Deck clean up.
Потом мне нужно было прибраться.
I wasn't happy about this, but the old man said if I was quick, then I could watch the end of the film with them.
Если я буду быстро, я посмотрю конец фильма. Нужно
Alice was
прибраться.
vacuuming, and Mr. Deck was taking down the decorations, so I thought I should clean up the plates and glasses.
Тарелки собираю.
The ear-splitting sound was the fire alarm. As usual, Mr. Deck blamed Mr. Silton, saying he was probably smoking one of his
Типа
jazzed cigarettes.
пожарная
But then the
канализация
professor appeared.
сработала.
He said that there was something
Кто-то
burning in
горит
the
на
kitchen.
кухне.
Alice looked confused, saying that she hadn't cooked anything since the morning. We were all surprised when Mr. Deck opened the oven. Inside was a large black cloak and a slightly burnt pair of men's underwear. Suddenly the old lady burst in. She looked terrified. She kept shouting, "There's someone on the roof."
Кто-то на крыше.
When we went outside, it slowly became obvious that it
Mr.
was
Silton.
Mr. Silton. He was completely naked and
Он
playing his
был
guitar.
голый и играл на
He
гитаре.
shouted down, "When I finish this song,
Когда я
I'm
закончу
going to
эту песню,
fly."
я
The old lady
отправлюсь
said,
летать.
"Oh my God, I know this one. There's only about 30
30
seconds
секунд
left."
только
The
есть.
old man then quickly turned to me and said, "You know what to do."
Ты знаешь, что делать.
By the time I had made it up to the roof, Mr. Silton was
В общем,
beside
я
the
успел его
edge.
спасти,
I
видимо.
tried to calm him down, but he was acting even more bizarre than usual.
Он подумал, что я зомби. Робот спас местного идиота. Херобот спасает всех.
After an hour or so, Mr. Silton was fine. He said he had eaten some bad magic mushrooms.
Потом он, говорит, съел
Part of me
какие-то
wondered why he
неправильные
hadn't
грибы.
doubled in size. Still, he was soon laughing and joking with the paramedics. One of them said he looked like the world's worst clown. I don't think Mr. Silton liked that. So he told his own joke. But that just made the other paramedic call him Marshmallow Marceau.
В общем, он любит
I don't think he
прям
liked
шутку
that
показывать,
either,
дерни за
but
палец.
at least he was still in one piece. A month or so later, Heather and I were playing video games, when the old man said he wanted me to come outside. He said it had been a year since I had arrived, so he had a
Ну,
present for
подарок
me.
мне подогнал за год.
He placed the teddy bear high up on a wooden platform. He then told me I should try to pick it up. Try as I might, I couldn't reach the teddy
Мне
bear.
даблджамп даст или что?
However, I still don't understand what happened next.
Он умер? А типа я его шляпу надену? По-моему, я отключился. Как ко мне приходили. Велосипед вот подогнали мне. Нет, не мне. Даже профессор приходил. А, типа сейчас шляпу на меня наденут. Я такой, фигак. А, типа обратно меня на завод. Роль не подходит. Стукнули. Всё, проснулся. Вместе с похоронами. Жесть тут стори. Душевная история. Отключение системы завершено. Меня там в шкафу заперли. В ванной. Много времени прошло. Жесть тут. Я же говорил, веселая игра будет. Как классический саундтрек очень любил. Жесть. Знакомые игры так-то. Outrun там было, еще вот этот вот 3D шмап.
Was I dead? Was this heaven?
Я умер, это рай.
It sort of looked like the basement bathroom. It was the shoes the old man was going to give me. I thought I might as well put them on. They were just the right size. The old man's hat fit me pretty good as well. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I wore it. Amazingly, the shoes allowed me to defy gravity. Or maybe it was the hat.
Я могу по стенам ходить. Уи. Мой мир разорванный на части. Часть 3.
Part of the basement was flooded, and the stairs had collapsed. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew I wanted to get back upstairs. The gate was locked. I would need a key to open it.
Ага, воду мне не надо, да?
I had to be careful. The electricity was going haywire in some places. How long had I been asleep? Months? Years? I was so confused. Where had everybody gone?
Да все делись, сколько я проспал? Месяцы, годы? Угу. Ну, ничего, в принципе.
I was slightly scared. This was the first time I had been outside on my own.
Был напуган, потому что первый раз вышел сам по себе. Тоже все заброшено.
I knew what I had to do. This had to be my purpose. I would clean a million things, so I could become a real boy. Whatever that meant.
Чистим, все. Я могу вот так сделать. Окей. Сделать-то могу.
I was surprised to see an old man, but not as surprised as he was. It turned out he was blind.
Видел
He was
какого-то
moving
слепого
on the floor
человека.
with his hand in a drain. When I asked him what he was doing, he said his cat had crawled into the pipes, and he was trying to get her out.
Говорит, его кошка там
He
застряла.
was very happy when I offered to help. He said there was no way we could reach her from here, so if I was willing, I could make my way through the sewers and get her from the other end. He said he would turn off the water for as long as possible, but I would have to run, as the pipes would soon fill up again. I happily agreed. So he gave me a key. He said this will open all the sewer gates. Go through here, then down the ladder, and through the big door at the bottom.
All clear тут. No entry.
I better run.
Как мне наверх забраться? Никак. Пока воду не выключу, по крайней мере. Так я смог его собрать.
I found the old man's cat. She
Нашел
was
кошку.
fine, if a little confused. I was horrified. It looked like me, but it shambled around like something from the film we watched on Halloween.
Окей. Не выглядели как я, только из фильмов о Хэллоуине, которые мы смотрели. Вернули
The
кошку.
man was happy to have his cat
Он был
back.
рад, что
He
я вернул
looked so
кота.
content with her sat on his lap. I told him about the thing I saw, but he just
Он
laughed and
посмеялся
said,
и
"Those
сказал,
bastard
эти
robots,
роботы,
they're always
они все
getting
время
up through the
забирают через
pipes.
трубы.
Don't worry though, it'll never get through the big
Но они
doors.
не умеют открывать большие
If I
двери.
had my way, we'd have blown up the lot of them when we had the chance."
Я бы
I
взорвал их,
wasn't
если
sure what
бы
he
мог.
meant, but I decided now wouldn't be the best time to tell him I was a robot.
Но я не стал ему говорить,
The
что я
man
робот.
laughed and said, "Don't worry, I know who you
Я
are,"
знаю, кто ты.
and told me that he knew the old man.
И он знал старого человека.
As we chatted, the man brewed himself some
Заварил
tea.
себе чая.
He said that he had worked for the old
Он
man.
работал у
In
старого
fact, he had
человека.
lost his sight in one of the old man's factories.
Он потерял зрение на
Strangely,
одном из его
he
заводов.
smiled at this thought.
Он улыбался.
He always did me right, he said. When I had my accident, the old man said he would look
Он
after me.
сказал, что
And he did.
старик за мной присмотрит,
He
когда
always
это
made sure
произошло.
I had enough money
В
and
то
to let me
время давал мне деньги
move
и
into this
позволил
old pumping
перебраться
station
вот
on
в
his
это
land.
здание.
Which reminds me, I have something
И
here
вот
for
есть
you.
кое-что для
He
тебя.
rummaged around behind a cupboard. Then he continued saying, "The old man wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but
Перчатки
fate wouldn't
какие-то.
allow it." He passed me a large box. It was empty. I thought about pretending to be excited, but the man said, "Wait a minute. It's empty, isn't
А, она
it?"
пустая, верно?
He slumped back in his chair. "I was robbed a few months
А, меня
ago,"
ограбили
he
недавно.
said, almost in a whisper. "It's strange. They took practically
Но они
anything metal,
практически
but left
ничего
loads of
забрали,
freedom
не
to brand
забрали.
new saxophone." The man looked sad, so I thought I would try to change the subject. I told him about my quest to clean a million things.
Рассказал ему
This
про
at
свой
least made
квест.
him smile.
И он
He said I
улыбнулся.
was welcome to go back through the pipes anytime I wanted, as there were loads of old things in there that could be cleaned away.
Говорит, ходи через трубы, там много чего можно почистить. Ну, наверняка вода там не ушла, да? Сейчас посмотрю. Ну да, придется заново. Типа я не могу туда забраться, ну никак. И здесь тоже. Понятно, мне нужен какой-то предмет. Для этого. Если я так прыгну. Ага. В здании была канализация еще. Там что-то горит, надо кому-то помочь.
The screaming was coming from one of the bedrooms, but the stairs were blocked by a wall of fire.
Что здесь? Минус 80 джанк here. Это как?
The people screaming turned out to be a man, a woman, and their children. They were confused and terrified.
В общем, это они
At
кричали.
first the man looked like he was ready to fight me, but after I convinced them that I was there to help, he calmed down. There was no way I could carry them all at once, so the children went first.
Я их выношу.
I dropped the children off at the front door and promised them that I would be back with their parents.
О, ну.
The fire was getting much worse, so the woman went next.
Так, надеюсь, чувак там не сгорит.
When we got to the front door, all the woman said was, "Thank you, please hurry."
Поторопись. Окей.
By By the time I managed to get back, the man was
Он был
unconscious. I
отключен.
had to pick him up quickly, as I could tell the house was going to collapse at any moment.
Я так понимаю, спас.
I helped the family set up a tent so they
Устроил им
had somewhere
палатку,
to
чтобы им
stay.
было где
The kids were
остаться.
excited as they got to camp outside, but I think they knew they had just lost their home. When I mentioned my quest to clean a million things, the man said I should look through the rubble of the house, as they had no use for it. So, when everyone was making dinner, I looked through the wreckage. There wasn't
Говорит,
anything I
посмотри на
could clean,
разрушенный дом.
but to my astonishment, I found a TV set and a games
Нашел
console.
телевизор и
With a
консоль
bit of fiddling, I was able to get them
и
to work.
починил их.
So I sat playing games with the kids until their parents said it was
Он поиграл
bedtime.
с детьми.
As we talked, the man opened a bottle of wine. I asked what had happened. Why was everything so
Что
ruined?
случилось? Почему все
The man
разрушено?
looked at the woman, then the woman sighed and said, "There was a war."
Была
Yes,
война.
a war.
Это,
said
наверное,
the
с
man.
роботами.
One side of the planet attacked the other, and before we knew, it
А,
was
и
all
просто
over.
одна часть мира
Everything
атаковала
gone.
вторую, и все
Everything
было уничтожено.
destroyed. Well, it's late, said the woman.
Нужно
You should
лечь
really
спать,
get
уже
some
поздно.
sleep. Help yourself to anything you need, and we'll see you tomorrow. In the morning, I asked the man if he knew what had caused the fire that had destroyed their house. The man smiled. Crap old house, bad wiring, constant electrical surges from the
Говорит,
unreliable power plant.
электрические проблемы,
your
а там
pick.
ребенок с зажигалкой.
He said, if we had the money, we'd move to the mainland. But we can barely feed ourselves,
У них
let
нет
alone buy
денег,
a new
чтобы
house, so for now
переехать
we're left here
в
with the
нормальное
rest of the
место.
scum. But he did say I should head to the mainland, as there would be plenty there for me to clean, and a better quality of rubbish. The man said, before the war, my lovely wife used to be a fisherman. Fisherwoman? Fishing
Его жена
person?
была
I used to catch
рыболовом
fish, interrupted the woman,
до
and,
войны.
seeing as you saved us all from the fiery end, maybe you would like to borrow my boat to get to the mainland. I was a little scared, but then they gave me some captain software and I was an old salty sea dog within minutes.
Теперь я могу добраться до основной земли. $315 мусора здесь. Ага. Под водой я не умею ходить пока. Несколько дверей в канализацию есть. 262 мусора здесь. Так, мусор это один предмет. Неважно, сколько конкретно дает каждый предмет. Пойдем. Да, тоже. Игровые консоли. Баскетбол.
The gate was locked. I would need a key to open it.
Дверь закрыта. Мне понадобится ключ. Возможно, можно роботов убить, и за это тоже мусор дают. Там я был. Там я был. Здесь тоже была канализация, как будто. Вот она. Что это такое? Я не умею это активировать. Могу в дверь зайти. Вау. Кто это тут такой красивый рейдит? Ай. Здорово, Пентак, спасибо большое за рейд. Спасибо. Я умею уже команду, да? Во что играли? Как стрим? Аут. Это игра весьма необычная. Готика 2. Вау. Готика 2 это круто. Ай, плохо прыгнул. Эта игра это что-то, я так понимаю, в ностальгическом формате сделано. Ничего, это я не умею такие штуки делать. Ну вот это, в которую я играю сейчас. Много к ретро-играм отсылок прямых, как я понимаю. Но недавно начал. Вестибулярку. Но ну, тут не так страшно. Я играл, где прям реально тошнит физически. То есть я вышел из закрытой двери. Отлично. Так, как будто здесь у меня больше ничего нет. Галстук поднимается. Жесть. Я не видел. Понимаю, предметы какие-то мне можно находить. Когда я смогу еще куда-нибудь забраться. Там в воду, например. Что, поплыли?
I took the fisherman's boat to the mainland.
Я отправился на большую землю.
The fisherman was right.
Все
Everything
было
was in
разрушено.
pieces.
Рыбак был прав.
Everything had been
Все
destroyed.
было уничтожено.
I docked the boat in some
Я
ruins.
припарковался у
They must
некоторых
have once
руин.
been a town.
Возможно, это было раньше городом. Берем немножко мусора, который можем. Короче, я некий робот-помощник, первая модель. Меня там купила какая-то семья, я с ним подружился, все было четко. Потом умер типа хозяин, и я расстроился, отключился и проспал непонятно сколько времени там в подвале. Ну вот, я вышел, и походу тут мировая война была, все разрушено. У меня только одна цель из прошлого осталась, типа, чистить. Вот я всякое дерьмо тут собираю, вот этот мусор. Типа, это мне мой хозяин дал цель, там, чистить миллион предметов, ну, убрать их, так сказать. Так, я могу здесь... Не знаю, куда лучше сходить. Ага, ну да, я могу туда залезть. Смотрим. Кажется, вот эти стены я смогу ломать. Вот эта шляпа, это типа хозяина моего. Все остальное, я не знаю, они там одежду купили или что. Руки-базуки. Ну, я видел у реальных людей руки базуки, так что... Тут еще дверь.
I was confronted by
Давай,
a lovable
Джейсон,
fat old dog. He almost looked pleased to see me.
собаку увидел.
Suddenly, 3 men appeared holding large
Потом
guns,
грабители
or
появились
at
с
least
3
2 men and
пушками.
what looked to be a pregnant woman.
2 мужчины и, похоже, беременная женщина.
Incredibly, it was Mr.
Это был
Silton.
мистер Силтон.
I thought you'd been shut down, he
Я думал,
said.
тебя
I mean,
выключили.
it's been years.
Прошли годы.
I'm
Он
not really
водителем
sure
был у
what
хозяина. Я не уверен, что
happened,
случилось.
I
Не уверен, что
replied. I
понимаю.
then told him about me cleaning a million things.
Он мне сказал
He
очистить
laughed
миллионы
and said,
вещей.
nothing changes. He then showed me into what was surprisingly a really nice house.
Их прикольный дом показал.
Please excuse my husband, said
А
a
это его
pregnant
жена,
lady.
видимо, беременная.
I'm Edwina,
Я
but
Эдвина,
everyone
но все
calls
зовут
me
меня
Eddie.
Эдди.
I believe you know this
Ты
idiot,
знаешь этого
and
идиота?
that's
А
Preston.
это Престон.
We've met, said the small man. It was me that delivered that thing,
Он типа доставил какую-то
remember?
вещь.
All you used to deliver was
Все, что ты доставлял, это была трава.
weed, mumbled Mr. Silton as he put the dog dish on the floor. And I was there that night, when this twat was off his face on mushrooms. Thanks for letting me and the dog stay, by the way. Yeah, well, we like the dog, said Mrs.
Спасибо, что разрешили
Silton,
мне и собаке
and I
остаться.
suppose I've
Нам
got you
нравится собака.
to thank for us meeting. What with you giving Barry those dodgy magic mushrooms? She pulled out an old photograph. It was one that Heather had taken the night I
А, эта женщина, это парамедик,
had saved Mr.
который
Silton.
спасал его, да. Он тогда грибов наелся, я его спас, и парамедики его откачивали потом. Так они познакомились.
It reminded me of everyone else, so I asked
Что
what had
стало с
happened to them.
остальными, он спросил.
Mr. Silton said Alice had a small place in the countryside.
У Элис какое-то место в
The
пригороде.
professor had
Профессор осел в
holed up in one
каких-то
of
на
the
каком-то
old man's
заводе.
factories. Mr. Deck
Мистер Дек на
was,
телевидении,
believe it or not, now a presenter on the only state
на
television channel.
единственном телеканале.
And Heather and her
Хэтер и ее мать живут в
mother lived on a
каком-то
government
бункере
compound where they both worked.
государственном.
I asked about the
Или
old
что-то
man,
такое.
surprised that Mr. Silton
Спросил про старого человека. Ну, он умер, а я, видимо, не помню этого.
hadn't mentioned him.
Он
He's
умер.
dead, said Mr.
Извини,
Silton.
я думал, ты
Sorry.
знаешь.
I thought you knew. Anyway, said Mr. Preston, I thought you said that robot thing found the mushrooms for you, in that hoarder's manky old barn. Mr. Silton looked embarrassed. Well, said Mrs. Silton, I guess we've got you to thank for getting us together then.
В общем, спасибо, что
Time
нас
for bed, I
познакомил.
think, said Mr. Silton. Make yourself comfy, and we'll see you in the morning.
Увидимся утром, отдыхай. Так, это что? Он? Стой! Глава 4. Ищу путь домой.
The next day, I thought it might be a good time to ask about the war,
Я все про
judging by the
войну.
look on everyone's faces.
Но это было
It
плохое
wasn't.
время, неподходящее.
Well, the war, said Mr. Silton. Barry interrupted his wife. Can I see you for a minute? And dragged Mr. Silton out of the room, leaving me with Mr. Preston.
Оставили меня с мистером Престоном.
All of a sudden, Mr. Silton
Потом
appeared.
пришел мистер
How
Силтон.
about a tune-up, he said. Mrs. Silton started to make some food, and Mr. Preston was playing with the dog, leaving me to chat with Mr. Silton. I
Они меня
said that I
подлатали.
really wanted to see everyone else, but Mr. Silton said that it wouldn't be that easy.
Говорит, сложно
Traveling
будет
now,
всех остальных
especially
встретить.
for a robot, is
Путешествовать
complicated.
роботу сейчас
Go back
тяжело.
to the house, you could even do some cleaning.
Возвращайся
Wait
в дом,
there and
сможешь почистить.
I'll work out a way to get you to
Подожди, я помогу тебе
I told
добраться
him
до
that I
остальных.
couldn't get into the main house because the hallway ceiling had collapsed. I have just the thing, said Mr. Silton, as he pulled some sort of card out of his pocket. If you can
Какую-то
get into the
карточку.
caves under the church next door to the house, you can use this security pass to get into the old man's laboratory.
Можно там где-то
You
через
can get
церковь
into the main house
пройти
that way.
и
I was so
попасть в
excited
основное
I would be
здание.
able to get back into my old room. I said thanks and made my way to the front door. Also, I think you might be able to help us out, said Mr.
И
Silton.
говорит, можешь
But
мне
we will
помочь.
meet up back at the old man's house in a couple of days. You head there and we'll see you soon.
Говорит, приплывут в мой дом.
The door was locked, but from behind it Mr. Silton shouted, "Go back to the old man's house." The caves under the house, shouted Mr. Silton through the locked door. You can get in through there.
Буду
Go
стучать.
back to the house.
Мгм.
Shouted
Они
Mr.
мне говорят,
Silton,
ну,
followed
он
by him
разные фразы
mumbling
говорит,
something about the
намекающие,
stupid robot.
что мне нужно...
I couldn't hear Mr. Silton anymore, so I thought I should go back to the house. I couldn't hear Mr. Silton anymore, so I thought I should go back to the house. I couldn't hear Mr. Silton anymore, so I thought I should go back to the house.
Что здесь?
I wasn't sure what to do with this machine. The
Не
huge door
уверен,
was sealed shut. I wasn't
что
sure
делать с
how
этой
to get
машиной.
inside.
В общем, здесь особо нам больше делать нечего. По крайней мере, пока научимся под водой ходить. Надо будет все повторно обыскивать.
I took the fisherman's boat to the old man's estate.
Я поплыл обратно. Я могу
I took the
туда-сюда теперь
fisherman's boat
плавать.
to the mainland.
Можно в настройках сделать, чтобы я мог пропускать заставки.
I took the fisherman's boat to the old man's estate.
Полагаю, я еще буду эту локацию восстанавливать, типа. Кто здесь Чорч? Я помню только... А. Тут два входа, которые в одно и то же место ведут. И там был где-то в спортзале, что ли. Зона, куда я не мог залезть. Без ключа какого-то. Ой. Или нет? Не здесь было. Ладно. Да, я могу здесь зайти. Или нет, или это... Так. Я запутался. Да, это то же самое место. Где там спортзал был? Право? Вот здесь, да.
As I walked through the old church ruins, I was surprised to hear Mr. Silton calling me. He said he had forgotten to give me something, and the church's community hall would be the perfect place to try it out. As soon as we walked into the hall, Mr. Silton said he had a present
Дал мне
for me.
перчатки.
It was a pair of Atlas gloves. They made me think of the old blind man with the cat, and his stolen Atlas gloves. I wonder if Mr. Silton knew how lucky he was to still have them with a glove thief around. Mr. Silton asked me to try the gloves on, and start chucking things around.
Я смогу
But
драться
not
теперь.
him. He was very clear about that. Mr. Silton suggested we clean the hall. Of course I knew when he said we, he meant me. But I was happy to try out my new gloves. He said I should clear everything off of the basketball court and put the things on the floor either side. I fiddled with the settings for a bit, but when Mr. Silton saw I was having trouble, he produced a small manual. He explained that pressing down and X would pick a thing up. X would then throw the thing, and if I wanted to place it on the floor, I should again press down and X. He looked more and more confused as he read all this, but eventually he finished by saying, "Well, I hope that made more sense to you than it did to me."
Гол забьем. И мне кажется, он мне сказал, типа, сбоку кинуть все, да? Любого. Я точно этот мяч теперь достану. Ребенка выкинул. А так, а можно ребенком в корзину попасть? Гол!
Mr. Silton sounded slightly annoyed when he said, "Come on, take all the stuff off the basketball court and chuck it either side. Let's see what else these gloves can do," said Mr. Silton as he flicked through the manual. He actually looked quite excited when he explained that holding X while walking into or under a falling thing would allow me to catch it. I must admit, I was then really happy when he suggested we make it a game, and I try to catch 10 basketballs.
А.
Next, Mr. Silton suggested we make it a real game and see how quickly I could score 10 baskets.
Теперь надо
I
закидывать.
enjoyed this so much. It felt just like the good old days. Except Mr. Silton wasn't as forgiving as the old man. When I'd scored 10 baskets, Mr. Silton gave me what he
Говорит, дай
called a high
5.
five. He said I now knew everything about the gloves and I should be able to continue through the basement of the church into the house. When I asked him if he was coming with me, he just laughed and said they would catch up with me in the main hall.
Ну, типа я сюда могу пойти дальше. Ну, наверное, это мы в следующий раз продолжим. Вообще игра веселая. Я знал, что она будет веселой. И она оказалась веселой. 24 тысячи, уже 25 тысяч мусора собрано. Надо 1 000 000. Немножко осталось.